Today we're headed out to Clarksburg, California to hang out with Trent Roberts. Trent is a family man, a fellow gearhead, a hell of a race car driver, an all-around good guy. Last year he placed third in the NorCal Racing Point Series, racing his 4800 class car, number 4811. Hope you enjoy the interview.
So we're here in Clarksburg, California, right?
Yeah.
Clarksburg, with Trent Roberts. How you doing, Trent?
Good, you?
Good. So tell us how old you are, where you're from.
At heart, I'm 15 years old and I'm from Ohio. But physically, I'm 40 years old and I live in Clarksburg, California.
And what brought you out here?
My wife, actually. We met in college and back in West Virginia and came out here to just visit her family and fell in love with the weather and decided to pack up and move out here.
And so I guess I've known you now for maybe a year or so.
Yeah, over a year, I think.
And we were here earlier. We were working on Trent's car, doing some racer driveway fixes on it. So you mentioned your wife. How many kids do you have?
I got 4 kids,
Uh-huh.
a 15-year-old, 9-year-old, 5-year-old, and 3-year-old.
They grow up so fast, it's hard to keep track of their ages.
Yes, very hard.
They're going up, you're going back down.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. How long have you been a gearhead?
Oh, since I can remember. Growing up with Dad in the garage, and yeah, it's been a long time.
Can you remember the first car you worked on? First project you had and related to motorsports or just your
I think first project I worked on with my dad was probably an old Bronco 2.
Okay.
I think that was about the first project I can remember.
And you've been hooked ever since?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Did you? Unfortunately. This all costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you're having fun. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, obviously you race. This is a 4800 class car. You race King of the Hammers, and what else do you race?
Raced a lot of the NorCal series, King of the Hammers, a lot of the this Ultra 4 series races between 48, 46, and 4900.
And how long have you been racing?
I think total of 4 years now, actually racing.
Okay. Okay. And this car behind us you've had for about 4 years?
Yeah, about 4 years.
Okay.
A little older than my daughter.
There you go.
Because my wife told me if I wanted to buy a race car, we're going to have a kid. I thought she was bluffing. Well, I bought the race car and we ended up having my daughter.
Well, I guess it's happy wife, happy life. So,
yeah.
And you got a really cool kid to boot, and
yeah, I love my daughter, so.
Awesome. That's awesome. This is probably a hard question to ask, or a hard question to answer, or maybe it's not, but why do you race? What keeps you interested in racing? Because we know that there's a ton of work involved, a ton of time involved, no question, money involved. Why do you do it?
If you ask any racer, we'll all say we're all dumb for doing it, but as soon as we get behind the wheel, it's the thrill.
It's an adrenaline rush.
Yep. Then after that race is done, we ask ourselves why we're doing it again when we got to go work back on our car.
It's a
love-hate relationship.
Love-hate relationship, a very expensive drug, but not one of the worst drugs. There's much worse ways to go out there and get that adrenaline rush, I'm sure.
For sure. But yeah, that's why a lot of us do it, just for the adrenaline rush.
I was going to ask you, so I've been going to races off and on a little bit now for probably about 3 years. What would you say is the most often overlooked thing for somebody that's been racing from a racer standpoint, racer to racer? If you were looking at other racers, what do you think they often overlook? Or I guess this is the two-part question. Somebody wanting to get into racing, what do you think they overlook? What do you think they don't think about?
That's a hard one. I mean, a lot of times like I'll forget stuff. If anybody knows me, they know I'm very forgetful. It's just the little things that we forget. You know, if we brought this or brought that, and you know, you're like, oh, I brought it, and then you can't find it, and then you realize it's still at home, and you forgot it. And then the one thing we don't overlook is the people that help us. I mean, if it isn't for the friends, the family, that's number one reason why we do what we do too, because we have the backing of them. Now, if your second part is if somebody wants to get into it, just find somebody local. Find somebody local that's racing and offer to help. That's how I ended up getting into it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how I ended up getting into it too.
Yeah, see,
Once you get in there, you get hooked, and there's something about it being at the races and helping out. If you could help a team, I wouldn't say I want to go as far as driving a race car, but helping the team. There's just a vibe there. There's an energy there, and like you said earlier, there's a community.
Yeah.
Within the racers in the race industry, there's a community of good guys. It's kind of like good old boys, and they'll do anything to help you.
Yeah.
It seems like.
That's just like me and probably the number one competitor I have. Him and I talk almost every single day.
That's awesome.
We're friends. We got at the racetrack, it's a different story. But off the racetrack, we're there to help each other.
Yeah, and I would say, I don't know if it's like that in other sporting type events.
I've heard it's not.
Yeah. Or in other types of racing, maybe.
Yeah, I've heard like dirt track guys, they all hate each other and secrets this, secrets that, and there's always fights. And
yeah.
no, we all get along. We all drink beer together and hang out.
Well, after the last race, you had to have your rollover beer.
Yeah. Don't like talking about that one. It's probably the worst thing ever in the world.
That's the first thing I heard. I was like, rollover beer? Okay, I see what's going on. You got to have your rollover beer.
Yeah.
But it's better if you have to have a rollover beer with a fellow racer that needs to have a rollover beer too, right?
True. Yeah. But it's basically what a rollover beer is. It's a beer that's been sitting out in the summer all year in a bucket.
Oh, I didn't know about that part.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's the worst beer in the world. Like,
so it's
the last one I had, they heated up on the fire.
Stale beer.
Yeah. They heated it up on the fire. I could barely hold the can.
And then you probably paid for it for 2 days afterward.
I ended up shotgunning
it. See, I didn't know about the heating it up or stale or.
Yeah, it's not a normal
sitting
beer.
Around in a keg for 3 years or.
Yeah, it's a very disgusting beer. Like.
Okay.
That's why we try not to roll over, but it happens.
Well, you pay your dues some way, somehow. You got to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
What kind of music you like?
I listen to everything.
Yeah?
Everything other than country rap. I hate country rap.
It seems like a lot of the music they put on the radio now is country rap.
I listen to Spotify.
On the country station, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were listening to Spotify, what would be... Do they make stations on there, or what do you call them? Do you call them like a Tyler Childers station, or a Cody Jinks, or a...
Like, I'm into, like... It's pretty funny. I like violins. Like, I'm into, like, violin music.
Yeah.
I'm into just word music. Not really much background. I'm pretty much everything other than rap and country rap. I can't stand it.
Yeah. You get a lot of windshield time. Do you listen to podcasts?
Here and there, I'll listen to podcasts. Shout out to Snail Trail and
Wheel and Wine and Whiskey.
Yeah, that's Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. I think I had the whiskey part. I couldn't remember the first part.
Yeah.
Remember, forgetful.
Yeah, Jason and Chris, they're good people. I know the guys at Snail Trail a little bit, but yeah, they're definitely fun to listen to. We were working on the car earlier. If there was one single thing you could change about this car, what would it be?
One single thing?
Well, let's talk about budgetary, or we'll break it down into how invasive the change would be. If it was a majorly invasive thing, like you had to change the geometry on the back, or change the chassis, or you change the wheelbase, or change the engine, what would the major change be if you could do it?
Major change would cut off the whole front end.
Okay.
Just make it where there's more up travel in the front end.
Okay.
That'd be the major change. That way I could lower the stance of the car.
So you would want to change the front end so you could have a lower ride height.
And that way I'd have more up travel.
More up travel. And the more up travel would help. I mean, I know what it means, but for the people that might be watching, what would more up travel do for you?
Means I can go a lot faster through the rocks, faster through the whoops. You know, the suspension will work better. It won't be bottoming out and then intentionally throwing the front end up in the air.
So, okay, now we'll go the other extreme. A small thing that you could change, which you haven't already done.
Visibility,
Okay, so visibility would be,
lose the hood.
okay, I understand.
Small thing,
Yeah.
because I
yeah.
can't see 20 feet, 30 feet in front of me.
Well, that could be a problem. Oh,
Yeah, it makes it really rough in the rocks. You can ask Chris Ray, because he can see better and he actually remembers what's in front of me. So like during hammers, it's always like, where am I going? Because I cannot, especially if we stop, I forget what's in front of me.
okay.
If I'm moving, I can adjust for it because I can see ahead. But if we stop, I forget what's in front of me and I can't see it. So there's been multiple times where I'll just go to take off and plow right into a boulder.
So would that would be a symptom of the hood line?
Yeah.
So if the front of the hood line dipped down,
Yeah, if you
It
look at
broke
my
down
car,
more?
the front of my car raises up.
oh, okay.
The chassis raises up in the front. Therefore, everything's higher up.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
if I just didn't have to have a hood in general, it'd be fine. But
And when you're on the throttle, it's going to probably exacerbate the condition because you squat a little bit in the back,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay. And you can't move your seat up anymore because then your head will hit the roof. So.
yep. So that'd be the easiest thing. Probably the fix would be just lose a hood.
Well, you might strategically have to lose a hood every once in a while.
It's been talked about. It's been talked about.
So we talked about, you mentioned Chris Ray. Chris Ray is your co-driver.
Yeah, he's been my co-driver for a couple years now, and it's a funny story because we never knew each other at all. And two New Years ago, I think I would say, because I go down to New Year's every year and just go pre-run, go get shock tuning with Wayne, and just go pre-run the rocks, you know, before hammers.
Yeah.
And it was Chris and my other buddy Chris lives in San Jose. We just all met up down there, and I've never met this Chris Ray before. He knew who I was, and I'm not a social media guy, so I don't really pay attention. And I already had a co-driver, and for the next year, and then after that, and I just, hey, you want to co-drive for me? So we just, ever since then, he's been my co-driver for hammers.
So hopefully we're saying his name right. We probably saying it
Chris
wrong.
Ria.
Ray. It just depends on what mood he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at the short course races like NorCal Series, you don't have a co-driver.
No.
They're not allowed.
Not allowed through
Not needed, maybe?
USAC. And I mean,
Insurance purposes.
insurance person. See, I like having a co-driver in the car because then I can just talk to somebody, someone to hang out with. You know, that's all I really need in short course. Just someone to bullshit with as you're driving. It's not much as, you know, rock left or rock right. It's just someone to hang out with and keep your mind at ease.
Have you done? We've talked about King of the Hammers. We talked about NorCal. Have you done many of the desert type racing, or is it mostly rock racing?
I raced Vegas to Reno in the 4600 4Runner, and Chris Way was my co-driver in that one too. And that was the only one I've ever done.
Okay. Did you like it? Would you rather it be more of a rock type race, or?
I mean, for what it is, it's a great race. It just, I had a really bad race.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't like it.
No. No, I guess you wouldn't like it if you had a bad race. You guys had a little bit of trouble, but you walked away. Everything was good. It's just the car was a little bit worse for wear.
Yeah, I lost steering at like race mile 60 something, and then drove 100 miles without steering until it finally locked up and sent us in a roll.
Oh shit! So you're just Armstrong in it.
Yeah, the whole time.
Man, you're tough. This guy's the cowboy of off-road racing. He does things the cowboy way.
Yeah, when you're in the seat, you gotta get it done.
That's for sure.
Don't stop until the car stops.
Tell us something about you that people might be surprised to know or hear. People may not know about. Could be something very small. Could be something, I don't know.
I
Just having to knock our socks off.
I don't know.
You like Crest toothpaste?
No,
cut
the
this
wife
out.
buys all that organic stuff.
What's your favorite brand of beer?
Coors Banquet.
There you go.
Yeah. Everybody knows that though. Yeah. I don't have much to hide. All my hobbies is family, work, and race cars.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
What about your sponsors? You want to talk a little bit about your sponsors? Who helps you get here? Who helps you race? We know your wife's a big part of it.
Yeah, she's probably the #1 sponsor. Although I wish she would put the money into it. It'd be great.
The financial sponsor, not
Yeah.
just the emotional support
Yeah.
sponsor.
Yeah, but she does a lot though. She takes
No,
care of the kids. She
of
takes care of
course.
everything. Yeah, like my biggest sponsor right now is TWC. They help me out with a lot. You know, they let me drive their 4Runner.
The support Gen 4Runner.
Yep, let me drive the 4Runner for them, and then the Can-Am, the X3 Can-Am, let me drive that for them. And yeah, so gets a lot of time behind the wheels.
And then they help you out with this.
Yep.
And then what about your tires and wheels and?
Mickey Thompson for tires, hands down. I mean, they're on all 3 vehicles. I mean, probably the best tires out there, hands down. You can argue with me all day. That's how I feel. Especially when you can have them on a Can-Am, you can have them on a heavy 4Runner, and then this car, and they're all DOT tires, and beat the crap out of them. And then Vision wheel, of course. It's one wheel that can take a beating. And then get your others, you know, like Fox and Warren, my lights. All those companies all still back me, and it's nice.
You said it was ATC.
Yeah.
Does your
All
lights?
all Train Concepts.
Okay.
Peter, he does pretty good. He helps me out a lot with lights.
And you go to Wayne. Wayne does your shock tuning.
Yep. Wayne at AllTech Motorsports.
Yeah.
If nobody knows who he is, then you don't race.
Yeah, he's a wizard. I've been watching his YouTube channel too.
Yeah.
That stuff is like the inside of a transmission. There's all kinds of magic going on inside of them shocks.
Yeah, it's funny. Him and I will be talking, and he'll just see the deer in the headlights, and then he'll just. It's like, yeah, you might as well just stop because I don't. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Wayne.
Yeah, just.
But I believe you.
Just do it, and I'm sure I'll feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the only guy that I know that shock tunes that will get in the car with you.
Wow.
He'll get in the car, ride with you, tell you to push harder, or tell you to slow down, check up. You know, he'll get in the car, and then he can feel the car also, and then he goes back and does his magic, and then you go back out again. He's got a lot of trust in people too, for that.
Well, it's been a day. We did a little bit of work, not too much. Thanks for having me over.
No, thanks for coming over.
And
No, don't worry. You're gonna help work on an excursion here in a little bit.
we're not just doing race car stuff. We're doing other stuff too. We got to work on the wife's family wagon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to get in here and make sure to do a little video and introduce everybody to Trent. I'm sure some folks have seen Trent on the racetrack, but don't really know his story, and just an opportunity to get to know you a little better. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Go, Trent, go, go! Go, Trent! Yeah, baby! Oh my gosh.